Jesus. This is
Jake Paul's world just came crashing down, and this time, there's no getting back up. What started as a flashy rise from YouTube stardom to boxing celebrity has officially turned into a full-blown disaster. The headlines say it all. Jake Paul arrested, and it's not for some minor screw-up like reckless driving or bar fights. Nah, this one's serious. The kind of charges that could land him behind bars without bail. And just like that, years of hype, trash talk, and carefully crafted controversy have gone up in flames. But what's truly wild? No one's rushing to defend him. The internet isn't lighting up with Briner-free Jake Paul. The sympathy? Non-existent. Because this wasn't some unlucky break. It was a train wreck years in the making. And it all traces back to that press conference on August 18th. You remember it? The one at the Jacob Javits Center in NYC, meant to hype up the much-anticipated fight with Mike Tyson. Fans showed up expecting fireworks, theatrics, and your usual dose of Jake's over-the-top antics. What they got instead was something way darker. From the moment Jake strutted on stage, something felt off. He was erratic, more aggressive than usual. Then, in a move no one saw coming, he crossed a line that should have never been touched. Staring Tyson down, Jake mocked the boxing legends. Health issues. That's right. He made a tasteless jab at Tyson's illness in front of a packed room, cameras rolling. What was supposed to be another headline-grabbing performance turned into a PR nightmare. You could feel the mood shift instantly. Tyson didn't even need to respond. The disgust on his face said it all. And now, with the arrest and a growing list of legal troubles, it's clear. This isn't just about a bad joke or a bad day. Jake Paul's downfall is in full swing, and there might be no coming back. More on what led to the arrest and what this means for Jake's future in the next update. Stay tuned.
You had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy?
The entire room fell into a stunned silence, like the air had been sucked out completely. It was that kind of moment where everyone seemed frozen, collectively holding their breath, trying to wrap their heads around the train wreck unfolding in real time. Even Jake's most loyal, die-hard fans had to be thinking, wait, did he really just say that? But Jake? He didn't backtrack. He didn't apologize. Instead, true to his brand of unchecked ego, he doubled down. With that trademark smug grin and his chest puffed out, he leaned into the mic and boldly declared, Tyson's not sick. He's scared. And come fight night, I'm gonna retire him for good. It wasn't bravado. It was recklessness. And at that moment, Jake didn't just lose the crowd. He lost the plot.
I'm here to make $40 million and knock out a legend. I don't give a fuck about anything else. And he's the one that wanted it to be a pro fight, so he's going to get his ass knocked out real.
Forget respect. Forget honor. Forget even the spirit of the sport. Jake Paul made it painfully clear that none of that matters to him. All he's chasing is the next paycheck, the next headline, the next viral moment. And Tyson? Just another pawn in Jake's endless game of clout chasing and cash grabs. Let's not kid ourselves. Jake has never truly been in this for the craft. It's never been about sharpening his skills or humbling himself to learn from a living legend like Mike Tyson. It's always been about the spectacle, keeping the cameras rolling and his ego fed. Meanwhile, Tyson was dealing with real health issues, ulcers for crying out loud. The man could have easily bowed out of the fight and no one would have blamed him. But instead, he took a short, necessary break and was ready to return on his terms, at full strength. A fighter through and through.
Correct. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Jake Paul KOs Mike Tyson. I'm not here to do shit besides make a bag.
But Jake? Nah. He wasn't in it to grow or sharpen his skills in the ring. Remember when he challenged Mike Perry? That wasn't about improvement. It was just another calculated move to keep his name buzzing and the cameras flashing. Jake. Paul's rise in the boxing world has felt more like a scripted soap opera than a legitimate career, packed with drama, scandal, and enough controversy to make you wonder if any of it's even real. Sure, his over-the-top bravado and massive social media following have kept him in the spotlight. But let's not pretend we haven't heard, no, been drowned out by, the critics. Fans and boxing purists have been calling foul for years, especially when it comes to those suspiciously convenient TKOs. You know the ones where Jake just happens to win in ways that feel more choreographed than earned. That's exactly why Tyson said what he did.
Be in good shape because your health depends on it.
Hey, you're the one that wanted 8 2-minute rounds. You want to make it 10?
In the high-stakes world of professional boxing, where one punch can mean the difference between triumph and total defeat, the referee is supposed to be the ultimate authority. But when it comes to Jake Paul's string of victories, fans and critics alike have been left scratching their heads. Take his bout with Tyron Woodley on August 29, 2021. Officially, it ended in a TKO, but to many, it felt more like sleight of hand than a legitimate stoppage. Woodley, a battle-tested warrior with a rock-solid chin, seemed curiously subdued just before the ref stepped in. The stoppage felt less like concern for safety and more like a move to keep Jake's unblemished image intact. And then there was the bizarre spectacle against Ben Askren on April 17, 2021. Another TKO, another collective, wait, what? Moment. Askren, a former MMA champ known for his grit, barely hit the mat before the referee waved it off. To many watching, it looked less like a real fight and more like the ref was there to make sure Jake never even got tested. These aren't just isolated incidents. They've fueled a narrative that Jake's rise is being carefully curated, with referees acting more like lifeguards than officials, ready to jump in before things get messy. It's a cloud that's followed his career, casting doubt on every win and raising serious questions about whether the so-called problem child has ever truly been in danger. That's exactly why Mike Tyson, boxing legend and no stranger to controversy, dropped a bombshell when he announced a knockout-only rule for their upcoming clash. This wasn't just a rule change, it was a direct challenge. No judges, no early stoppages, no safety nets. If Jake wanted a win, he'd have to earn it the hard way. The crowd loved it. Tyson's announcement was met with roars of approval from fans hungry for a real fight, not another scripted spectacle. But Jake? He lost it. Grabbing the mic, he went off. Not with confidence, but with a flurry of excuses and ego-driven rants that had little to do with boxing and everything to do with deflecting the pressure. In that moment, it was clear. Tyson came for a fight. Jake came to protect a brand. And only one of them looked ready for war.
Shut the fuck up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. Fuck you, New York. Fuck you. Dumbass Democratic city.
This wasn't just an outburst. It was a full-blown meltdown that exposed just how shaken Jake Paul really was. The moment Mike Tyson laid down the knockout-only rule, the usual cocky bravado Jake brings to every press conference vanished. In its place, panic, plain and simple. Gone was the chest-thumping confidence, replaced by a man scrambling to regain control as the situation spiraled. And what made it all the more embarrassing? Just weeks earlier, Jake was talking a big game. During fight negotiations, he was all in on Tyson's terms, throwing out bold claims about being ready for anything, eager to prove he belonged in the ring with a legend. He said he'd rise to the challenge, that he wanted the fight to be as real as it gets. But when that reality finally hit, when Tyson made it clear there'd be no safety nets, no points, and no refs to save him, it was like Jake suddenly realized what he'd signed up for. And instead of standing tall, he backpedaled so fast you'd think he was trying to escape the fight entirely. The tough talk? Gone. The showman swagger? Nowhere to be found. What was left was a guy who looked unprepared, overwhelmed, and totally exposed.
Hello? Jesus. Bro. This is...
The charges? Breach of contract and potential fraud. All wrapped up in a legal storm unleashed by none other than Mike Tyson's team. Jake's arrest was sudden, shocking, and absolutely blindsided everyone. 1 minute he was out living the carefree influencer lifestyle, and the next, he was being cuffed and escorted out, looking less like the brash YouTuber turned boxer we're used to, and more like a kid caught red-handed. And if you thought the drama stopped there, think again. Things reached legendary status when Mike Tyson sat down on Logan Paul's podcast and was asked the million-dollar question, why go after Jake so hard? Tyson didn't hold back. In true Iron Mike fashion, he cut straight to the point. This wasn't just about a broken contract or a missed payday. This was personal. It was about respect, integrity, and standing by your word. Values Tyson's lived by, both in and out of the ring. He's been in more wars than most can imagine. But what really set him off wasn't the trash talk or the antics. It was Jake's total disregard for their agreement. Jake mocked Tyson, tried to duck out of the fight, and thought he could spin the whole thing into another viral stunt. But Tyson isn't just another headline. He's a legend. And in his world, a man's word means something. What's wild is Tyson could have gone full beast mode. Everyone knows the fire he still carries. But instead, he showed restraint. Why? Because he's learned. He's lived the consequences of anger. He's seen where that path leads. So instead of lashing out, he channeled his energy into something bigger, holding Jake accountable, not just in the ring, but in life. And that's what makes this whole saga even more intense. Because for Tyson, this isn't just a fight, it's a statement.
Learn from prior experience. When that tough guy Mike Tyson comes out, when it's not necessary to come out, I'm always in handcuffs. So I'm very careful when that guy...
Tyson admitted tapping into that old part of himself, the version that used to settle scores with his fists, no questions asked. That's the Tyson who dominated the ring, who struck fear into opponents before the bell even rang. But it's also the Tyson who knows all too well the cost of losing control. He openly confessed on the podcast that those explosive instincts, the same ones that built his legend, also nearly destroyed him. "I've been that guy," he said, his voice steady but reflective. "The one who reacts first and thinks later, and I've paid for it over and over." It was a rare moment of vulnerability from someone known for raw power and intensity. But it showed how far Tyson has come. He's no longer the wild young champ fueled by rage. He's a man who's fought just as many battles outside the ring as in it. And that's why, when Jake disrespected him and tried to play games with their contract, Tyson didn't throw a punch. He took the high road and hit harder where it truly counts, in court.
Drink, get ready to get in a fight, I break out in handcuffs. But
It's a powerful reminder of just how thin the line is for Mike Tyson, between keeping his cool and slipping back into the chaos he once lived in. He spent a lifetime walking that edge, knowing that one wrong move could unravel everything he's built. So, when Jake Paul started acting out, Tyson didn't just react. He made a calculated choice. This wasn't about putting Jake in his place with fists. It was about proving to himself that he didn't need to. By choosing the legal route, Tyson showed real growth. He wasn't going to let Jake or anyone else pull him back into the darkness he's worked so hard to rise above. More than anything, it was a reflection of the man Tyson has become. Someone who understands that the hardest battles aren't always fought in the ring, but in the struggle to stay disciplined, to stay grounded. It was strength, not in throwing punches, but in restraint, a different kind of knockout. Don't forget to like the channel, subscribe, and press the bell icon to stay updated with all the latest content.